Thanks for staying with us. Time to talk about skating in South Australia. Jackie Blythe, the Development Officer, has been good enough to join us. Jackie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about skating. When there's obviously the recreational form, and then we have the competitive form.
Yeah, we cover everything really. Recreation is exactly what it is. You can go to every rec centre in Adelaide just about, or out on the streets, you know, the kid gets a pair of skates for Christmas, that sort of thing. But we operate from rec centres, and rec centres operate their own public skating sessions. So that's the recreation. Plus we have what we call participation clubs. So they only look after kids that don't want to compete. And then we go to clubs that go through the usual pathways of, you know, club skating, state titles, nationals, worlds.
So we're talking roller skating here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Rather than ice skating, just for our viewers.
We have two sorts.
Okay, yeah.
Quad skates and blades.
Okay, well, so I grew up in the quad skates, and I don't mind saying, as a backwards speed skater,
roller derby,
I was about 7 out of 10. No, I'm serious. In the day, I'm leading to another question here, Jack, but in the day, truly, you had to, every weekend, every Friday night, they'd have the top 40 hits with Casey playing in the background.
Yep.
You know, I want to kiss you all over, you dance with your girlfriend skating backwards. That was what you did. I'm serious, Jack.
Everyone, I know.
Hundreds, thousands of people used to do it. But you know what? Now it's so competitive for that dollar. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're not skating. So you've got a tough job.
They are still having roller discos around various sites. Obviously at rec centres.
I'll have to find out where they are.
Obviously at recreation centres. I mean, we have some recreation centres that are pretty good to roller skating and allow us to book some pretty decent time at the rec centres. Then we have those that we're nowhere near allowed. And obviously a lot of schools won't let us skate in the schools, but it is becoming difficult as to where we can skate, but certainly roller discos are still alive and kicking.
And the quad skates and the blades, right? So quad skates are still alive, are they?
Oh yeah, 4 skates in all our disciplines. And then blades is only, inline hockey only use blades. But artistic... Oh, and speed use blades. They're better outdoors. Blades are better for outdoors as well. But artistic and roller derby use quads, but artistic use quads and blades.
Okay, fair enough. It's good.
Jack, you touched on it there. You know, a kid gets some roller skates for his Christmas present or birthday present, and he goes and skates around the street. Then you touched on it the next bit. You're saying some of the recreational venues don't want you in there. Obviously, they feel their floors are going to get damaged from the skates. You're not allowed to skate on the roads, are you?
No.
So, or on the footpath. So you can cycle on the footpath now, which is funny that you can't skate. But where do they practice? Well,
hence the dilemma of the growth of the sport. I mean, obviously at those rec centres is where we practice. There's some trails. You can skate on bike trails. And you can on footpaths the same as bikes if you go certain speeds and if you yell out to people. But it's...
Because I see a lot down the Glenelg foreshore, skaters going down there, and it's pretty cool.
And look, if you're an individual, you know, you'll get away with skating anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, but if you're in big groups of people and if you're representing a state organisation, you kind of want to get permission, which is always hard to get.
Speed skaters, they get up to speeds about 35, 40 kilometres an hour.
The best one's 50.
Wow.
So where would they practice?
Anzac Highway?
We have a huge skating family in South Australia called the Bryants, and some of them are artistic. We had ex-world champion in artistic and the same in speed skating. But that family live past Gawler. They would skate, and I'm talking kids from under 15 all the way down, from Gawler to Glenelg to get an ice cream.
Really? Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're into speed skating, but that's their training. They'll do all the paths, all the trails. They go on the Northern Express bike track, not the Northern Expressway. And, you know, they're getting more and more people joining them on those Sunday morning
Actually, when you think about it, when you explain it like that, it makes sense. There are plenty of the trails they can go on, especially when you think about the amount of bike paths we've got in this state at the moment.
It's not ideal because if you think a bike can go over a nut that falls off the tree or the tree root or a bit of a gap in the pavers, if you're on a bike, it's even worse if you're on skates.
Yes.
So it's not ideal because what we love is the smooth concrete. Which now councils are putting down pavers and all sorts of floor covering, ground covering, that's not ideal.
Conducive to great skating.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Jackie, can you take us through some of the forms because you've touched on them for the viewers? Inline skating.
Inline hockey.
Inline,
is like hockey. It's like ice hockey on blade skates. It's played five-a-side, and it's mainly played at two venues, Blackwood Recreation Centre and Gawler Community Centre. Gawler's a small, you can't play 5-on-5, you have to play 3-on-3 because it's too small. Blackwood's the only full-size one that they can play inline hockey on. When we have nationals here, we play at the Titanium Stadium. And that's a great venue for inline hockey. It's absolutely fantastic. It's full size. We take up the whole place. We have to put the seats back to take up the whole width and depth, but that's great. So we have inline hockey. We have speed skating, indoors and outdoors, because they go around a track indoors. Outdoors, they do a marathon, same length as runners. They do the marathon. And artistic is like ice artistic. You do your spins, your jumps, your dance, your figures. They have, I don't know how many disciplines in that discipline on its own. Then we have the roller derby, which is a fairly new sport to Australia and South Australia, and it's in its infancy in South Australia.
Getting a lot of PR though. Getting a lot of PR. I guess you'd probably want that PR spread across all the disciplines, but roller derby for its unique offering gets a bit.
Yeah, it does. The people that get that are not affiliated with our body. They're seniors only, and there's only 8 teams, and we tend to work with the juniors and the mixed and the people that can't break into that. And then we used to have skateboarding. Skateboarding's still with our national body, but at the moment they're working out how they're going to work that, because it was worked one way in hubs in every state, and now they're changing that up. So I just sort of look after them a little bit, but it's not major at the moment.
All right, we've got to wind up, Jackie. Just before we go, there's a couple of big events coming up in March.
Yep. We have a Grand Prix coming up for speed skating down at... it's not Agana Park. It's a outdoor netball centre down up north, and we have our inline hockey state titles this Monday of the long weekend at Blackwood Rec Centre.
Well done. It's good.
All right, Jackie Blythe with our special guest, the Development Officer for Skate SA. We need to go to a break. Stay with us. Still plenty to come.